I Goku versus Vader, Namek Saga when Goku fought Frieza, and Canon Vader. Today I have the Blue 9K with me.
Yo, what's up?
He's going to be scaling Vader because I don't know much about Star Wars scaling at all, and I will be going over Goku scaling. I'll link his channel in the description so you can go see that. And then he also has a TikTok where he posts kind of scaling edits and all that. But we're gonna get started. So I'm gonna start off with Goku's speed. We're not gonna really mess around too much. And to scale the speed, if you want a slightly more in-depth explanation, you can go see the other collab video I did where it was Vegeta versus Naruto, because I do go over the speed scaling in that a little more in depth. So for speed, you can say that someone like Weighted Piccolo can fire beams that can reach the moon in about 4 seconds in the anime. With light taking a little over 1 second to reach the moon, it's about like 1 1/3 seconds or something like that. And this can make a casual throwaway blast from Piccolo near light speed as he consistently dodges ki blasts on that level. And since Raditz is about 4 times base Piccolo, you can argue Raditz has baseline FTL reaction speeds. The other way to argue is that in the manga it was instantaneous, giving Raditz 4 times FTL speed if Piccolo is baseline FTL. Strength does increase with speed as said by Vegeta, and you could argue that these characters have been FTL for a while based on the fact that they can dodge lasers and such, but we will stick to this for now. And now it's math time, baby! Going off of what we just went over, you would need to have a power level of 350 or 1500 to be FTL. The Goku we are using is the one that fought Frieza, who has a stated 3 million power level, which 3 million divided by 15,000, or 1500, sorry, is 2000, which 3 million divided by 350 is 8,571. But we'll go with 8,500 to round it off. This giving base Goku at this point around 2,000 to 8,500 times FTL speeds, which is about MFTL plus. The Kaioken would further amp Goku as he states himself that his speed, attack, and defense multiply when using it. Goku at this point being able to use Kaioken times 20, albeit for an extremely brief period. There is a massive anime filler wank which can get Goku to about 1.6 to 1.7 million times FTL using Kaioken times 20, but we're not really going to tread in that territory. So for now, I'll throw the speed scaling transition over to the Blue here, who's going to go over Vader's speed.
Alright, for Vader's speed, we must scale him to other characters like Kylo Ren. In the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker novelization, Kylo performs a bare minimum FTL feat, as it states that normal people, when going through hyperspace, would normally just sit down or even like relax or sleep, while Kylo didn't put his guard down. The reason why this would be at least FTL is due to the fact that there's like a bunch of debris and very narrow passages that Kylo had to react to while piloting this massively faster than light ship, which we'll get into why it's more than likely MFTL. So in the Thrawn novels, Vader also performs a similar feat to Kylo Ren, where he's reacting to hyperspace speeds, and the ship they were boarding had a class 1 hyperdrive, class 1 being superior to class 2 obviously, where that a damaged class 2 hyperdrive can perform a massively faster than light feat, or more specifically around the 28 billion times FTL feat, which is in the link in the description if you want to see like the math and stuff for that. This is actually sort of more consistent than you think, seeing how just regular blasters are stated to be light speed, as they're stated to be lasers obviously. Vader can, and pretty much other characters could react. And going back to the Kylo feat, basically almost all of the resistance is able to like get to Exegol, meaning they had to actually perform the same feat Kylo did to get to the planet. So you could even argue like regular humans are like millions of times FTL if you really wanted. If you want to like be super uncharitable and say Vader can only react to like 1% of these speeds, 1% of 28 million is like still 280,000. So I would see why this is really a relevant way to downplay him. There's also another downplay where people try to say that since Vader has precognition, it should downplay his speed. However, I fail to see why that would actually downplay his speed. As, for example, let's say I had precognition and I see someone about to like punch me in the face, but they have immeasurable speed. And I'm gonna see them punch like I see the future, they're gonna punch me in the face. Just because I can see the future doesn't mean I'm fast enough to dodge the attack, right? Vader still has to move and react to those kind of speeds. It's not like he's just gonna get fucking like, or else you just get blitzed if that was the case. So that should be it for Vader's speed for the most part. So
there is we were talking about it like in depth a couple times over multiple calls and text chains, but there is, and while it is a Legends thing, there is this calc that kind of goes over it, does like a very similar 28 million times reaction speed, and then they kind of revamp the calc saying it's anywhere from I think it was like 3,000 to 38,000. So you could use that kind of downplay-ish feat to try to calc it and say that Vader's only 3,000 to 38,000 times FTL. So I'll kind of throw that stuff up on screen and put it in the description, so it's up to you guys whether you want to kind of consider that, even though it's not canon, it's Legends. But the math could still apply. And I think now is about the time we switch over to attack potency. And this isn't going to take as long, as it is very easy to scale Goku's attack potency. It's stated in El Manga Legendario, a Spanish guide, that it takes a power level of 10k to destroy a planet, Earth being a small planet within Dragon Ball. Then we have First Form Frieza, who has a stated power level of 530,000. And that 530,000 is able to destroy planet Vegeta, which has been consistently calced at Dwarf Star to Dwarf Star Plus, but there are a lot of calcs that put this on that kind of large star range, with one really high ball calc, which I do not agree with at all, putting it at solar system level. Goku being massively more powerful than this, 530,000, would put him anywhere from high Dwarf Star to Star and possibly Large Star if you use like kind of the slightly higher end calcs for Frieza, which bare minimum Goku's very high into planetary. And that's basically all I have for his attack potency, as all this stuff is fairly common knowledge. So I'll transition back to Blue here.
Alright, for Darth Vader's AP, it's actually more straightforward than you think. So Darth Vader is stated multiple times to be the ultimate weapon of the Empire, the ultimate symbol of power and fear for the dark side, etc., etc. People try to downplay it by saying like, well, this doesn't necessarily have to refer to strength, as it could just be referring to his fear or intimidation factor. However, in one of the novelizations, this ultimate weapon statement is actually referring to strength, as it says, Vader is the strongest weapon of the Empire. So we do know that these statements are actually referring to strength more than likely. With that, we can now scale Darth Vader above the Death Star, which the Death Star, as you've seen it when it completely obliterates Alderaan, has been calculated to around Dwarf Star level. With Kylo Ren, I don't want to get into the whole Kylo Ren versus Vader debate, as who wins doesn't really matter, but more so who's stronger, in which case it's Darth Vader, as it's stated in a more recent guides, which one of them was in 2021, where this is a guidebook where Sidious is basically recalling all Star Wars from his point of view. Palpatine basically just says that Vader is his strongest apprentice. Now, to go back to the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker novelization, it says that Palpatine tells Kylo that he's been the voice, he's been in his head the whole time, and that he was his master all along, showing that Kylo was Sidious's apprentice, and well, Vader is like his strongest apprentice, obviously, so he'd scale above Kylo. To go back to Kylo Ren scale, the reason why this is relevant is that Kylo Ren also has the same exact statements as Darth Vader, being also stated to be the ultimate weapon of the First Order. So, and it even says in that same scan that it's only matched up by the terrible legacy of his grandfather, Darth Vader. This would mean that Kylo should scale above Star Killer Base. So, by the name of the being the weapon, you can probably tell where I'm going with this. But this has been calc to around large star level. So either you think he's dwarf star level or he's large star level. And if you don't believe any of those, I guess he's like mile level or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for Vader's speed. That's its speed. Vader's AP.
So it's pretty even in terms of the AP. You could argue that Goku would be maybe a little bit stronger, as a 530,000 could be large star, so a possible low-end feat for Goku would be large star, but it's a little more debatable on that front. And next would more or less be hacks, and we went over this out of call and in call before we started recording, but it's not like the hacks is really going to matter in this fight. Whether you want to say Vader has the better potency of hacks and say that Goku wouldn't be able to overpower the telekinetic abilities of the Force and Vader would just like crush his kidney or something, or give him testicular torsion so he just kind of collapses. But then you could also argue that since they're going to be relative in attack potency, maybe Goku being higher, especially being able to use Kaioken to amp himself even further, which is stated to amp his speed, attack, and defense, then you could argue that the hacks don't really matter, as Goku would be able to resist telekinetic abilities, as even someone like Nappa is able to resist Chaozu's telekinetic abilities. If you're stronger than a soul-destroying ability, you can resist it. And Vegeta was able to resist mind control in the Buu Saga because he was just massively stronger than Babidi. He just kind of let himself be mind controlled. So Blue can go over a little bit more about Vader's hacks, but personally I don't think the hacks really matters that much in this fight.
Yeah, as Shidora was saying, it doesn't really matter too much. Vader has things like mind hacks, telekinesis. He's also been shown to have a similar ability to Kylo Ren, where he could just paralyze people like he did with Poe. There's also he has fear inducement, which I don't think it's gonna really matter that much. So yeah, Vader's hacks, at least in this fight, don't really matter.
Yeah, as Goku's either too strong to be affected by it, or he's dealt with it before. Fear just kind of makes him more excited. So even if Goku is scared, he would just kind of be more excited, like, oh, I'm actually like kind of getting tingly. I need to see where this goes, kind of thing. And even if Vader tried to weigh down Goku with the Force or something, then Goku has been shown to deal with 150 times gravity. So unless Vader's like 150 times stronger than him, he's not really gonna slam him down into the ground with just pure power. That's how I kind of see that going. Now, in terms of the fight, this is where stuff gets a little crazy, or just like a little weird. Because if you go with that anywhere from 280,000 range, so being the 1% of 28 million, or to be 28 million, then if they're just relative in basically everything, and Vader is just that much faster, he's going to speed blitz. Because I can put the calc up on screen, but basically using the anime filler, if you want to go that far, Goku can react to Kami's ship, which is about 500 times FTL, so I can throw all that stuff up on screen, considering it can go to Jupiter in about 5 seconds from Earth, and then going off of that, going off of Bulma's ship, and yada yada yada, you can get that Goku with Kaioken times 20 to around that 1.6 to 1.7 million times FTL range. And then as a Super Saiyan, it would just be much higher. So if we did want to kind of transition over to like a Super Saiyan Goku versus Vader, that's still massive highball, can only get Goku to about 4 million times FTL, which is faster than the low-end Vader, but it doesn't really match up to that high-end Vader. What are your thoughts on how this fight would actually go?
Yeah, if you think that Vader is like, for some reason, only scales to like 1% of the speed, again, that's like 280,000. Only when Goku uses his higher things like Kaioken can he really surpass Vader at that point. And again, that's ultra downplaying Vader, saying it's only 1%, right? So if it's any higher, Vader kind of just blitzes for the most part. If you think Vader's only dwarf star level, you could say Goku might have the 8 advantage. with things like Kaioken. But if you think Vader's large star level, then Vader just kind of one-shots Goku, and it's even worse because he might blitz as well. So it might just be a blitz and one tap. Unless this is an in-character fight, and Vader would just kind of Goku and Vader would kind of act similar and want to test each other's abilities. Ultimately, I think Darth Vader should just have the edge even then. So, yeah, that's pretty much my take on it.
Yeah, so unless you use like that 6,000 to 38,000 times FTL Vader, Goku doesn't really stand a chance in the face of his speed. And like Blue said, if Vader's only Dwarf Star and Goku's Large Star, you could argue that just out over time, Goku would just improve enough to match Vader, considering Saiyans improve really fast to the point where even a couple minutes in a fight just means you're just massively stronger and can beat up your previous self. So if you scale them relative using that lower end speed and an in-character fight, Goku may be able to win, considering he could probably surpass Vader. But then again, I'm pretty sure Vader has a ability where he can amp his own power as well.
Yeah, he has things like Dark Side Rage, which can amp his speed, amp his attack potency, although for a short time. It's like kind of similar to the Kaioken.
Yeah, so we briefly touched over Super Saiyan, and like Super Saiyan Goku would stand more of a chance, as I'll put the numbers up on screen about what Goku's like speed would roughly be, which would kind of put him more kind of on the level of Vader's speed, and then just kind of surpass him in attack potency. But yeah, it just kind of goes that Vader's likely going to win, as he just has a massive speed advantage unless you use the lower end scaling. I think that's about how it goes. I don't know if you got any like final closing words or anything to say.
I don't really have much to say. All that I really gotta say is like you guys need to stop downplaying Star Wars. You're actually a really strong verse. So yeah, I don't want to feel like saying like their city block level or something. Like stop saying that, please.
Yeah, and I think we can both agree that Legends Vader is fucking stomping no matter what. Legends is a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, that's about it. I'll link any kind of calcs, and I'll throw any kind of scans up on screen. So, that's about it. See ya.